Tony in Philadelphia. Hey, Tony, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. I just wanted to comment on Gaza.
Sure, go for it.
People keep talking about a two-state solution.
Well, both the Israelis and the Palestinians are on the record as being in favor of a two-state solution, as is the UN, as is the United States. So it's not like just some strange folks are talking about it.
Yeah, I don't see how that could possibly work. The only solution, in my mind, is a one-state solution with equal protection for all.
Yeah, the problem with that, Tony, is the same problem that Iraq would have, for example. And Iraq's probably not even the best example. Maybe Iran. One of these quote Islamic states. If the population within that state that was Christian or Jewish was more than 50% of the state. You have a hard time saying if Israel was to incorporate the West Bank and Gaza and say everybody's a citizen, everybody has equal rights, their claim to be a Jewish state would end because the majority of the people would not be Jewish.
My point. Well, that's my point. Why does it have to be a Jewish theocracy? Why does it have to be an Islamic theocracy? Why can't it be a secular state like the United States or even Turkey? Why can't there be equal protection for all? And even at the cost of occupation by the UN or the United States. If we can occupy Afghanistan, if we can occupy Iraq, why can't the United Nations end this slaughter now and occupy Israel and get this done?
Well, I think the answer, and I think, frankly, the Gypsies, the Roma people, can make an argument like this too, and have for many years, that the Pest side of the Budapest River in Hungary, or the Pest side of the Danube, in Budapest, should be, at the very least, and maybe a few hundred miles around it, should be broken off and given to Gypsies as their homeland, or part of Romania, because it has to do with anti-Semitism, basically, and anti-Gypsyism. I mean, these are two groups that suffer and have traditionally suffered from, basically racial hatred in pretty much every country they've ever visited.
And this racial hatred I've seen in every country that exists on the planet. So my point is that
so they need a place of refuge. I mean, that was the rationale between the 1948 annexation and creation of Israel. Was we got a history that goes back to the Crusades.
I agree, and Israel accepted. They accepted the partition by the United Nations. That's why the United Nations should say, well, you accepted it before, accept it again, and now accept a secular state.
Right.
Where with equal protection for all, even if we have to occupy you for 100 years.
Yeah.
It would cost 1% of what it costs us to occupy these Muslim nations around the world that we've been occupying for the past 10 years.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I think in the real world there's no possibility of that happening. Do you?
Mm-hmm. Well, first you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you have to get other people to say, you know what, maybe if the world...
What you're going to run into is all the various states around the world, and there are, Thailand is a Buddhist state. I've been to Thailand many, many times. If you try to if you buy a Buddha in the airport gift shop and then put it in your bag and try and take it out of the country, they will arrest you. It's a crime. Because it's a country with an official national religion, and you can't besmirch Buddhism and you can't take Buddhists out of the country. So what that would do is it would call into, not necessarily call into question, and maybe they all should be, and of course you've got a bunch of fundamentalist Christians here in the United States who are trying to make the United States an officially Christian state. In fact, an officially Protestant fundamentalist Christian state. And, a lot of us are very alarmed about that and really rather like the idea of a secular state. But there are non-secular states. There are religious states all over the world. And most of them are able to hold themselves together by virtue of majority population. And that's, I think, why Israel is saying, we want to be a separate state so that we can maintain our Israeli/Jewish identity.
Sure. No, I understand that. I just think that more and more people who really don't care that religion is causing most of this.
Well, it's not just religion; it's culture and ancestry and tribe, for lack of a better word. This is built into the DNA of people. It's what produces nationalism. It's what produces both the good sides and the ugly sides of nationalism. Tony, thank you for the call. A thought-provoking conversation. Other people want to get in on this and other topics as well. We'll continue that right after the break.